Hello guys and welcome back to Shaun's Japanese course, yes. And in this video we're going to talk about the small kana. Now in the last couple of videos we talked about hiragana and katakana and we covered all of the basic sounds as well as the voiced sounds. However, I mentioned that there are still some sounds that I have yet to cover, and that's actually where this small kana come into play. Because at the end of the day, what small kana really is just, hiragana and katakana characters that are, small, really. There's nothing overly complex about it. They're just, small characters that attach to large hiragana and katakana characters and change their readings slightly, right? They change the sounds that they represent, right, a little bit. And how, and in Japanese and in the Japanese language, we have two types of small kana, the small yayuyo and of course the small tsu. Now, technically speaking, there is a third type of small kana. However, they're gonna make their own little video because they are, a unique thing of their own, right? So, as I said, the small yayuyo and the small tsu. Now, how they actually act, right, is that this small yayuyo, as I've said, attach the large hiragana and katakana characters, and they change, their readings a little bit. In the case of yayuyo particularly, they only attach to this second row of characters, right, to the E row, okay? And as a result, the sounds that you get are kyakyukyo, shashusho, chachucho, nyanyunyo, hyahyuhyo, myamyumyo, and of course, rya-ryu-ryo. Now, as I said, it's pretty much as simple as this, right? You just have the consonant sound and you attach the yayuyo, right? As long as you know the basic sounds of hiragana and katakana, you're gonna be just fine. Now, of course, as I've said multiple times before, in katakana, it's actually exactly the same, because even though the characters are different, the sounds that they represent are, exactly the same. So the sounds represented by the small kana are also exactly the same. Now, one thing to note here is that this yayuyo characters can also be voiced, right, with the dakuten and handakuten. And how that actually looks is basically like this. We get gyagugyo, jajujo, jajujo again, byabubyo, and of course, pyapyupyo. Now, as I said in katakana, it looks exactly the same because even though the characters are different, the sounds that they represent are exactly the same. So you basically get the same sounds. Now, that really is all there is to the small yayuyo, right? It's really that simple, okay? You just get the consonant sound and you attach the yayu or yo, right? It's as simple as that, right? So as long as you know the basic sounds of the hiragana table, you're gonna be able to read this, right? And you're gonna be able to reproduce this as well. Now, the issue, however, is that, as I said before, Roman characters are not perfect at representing these sounds. So at times you will see these two jajujo and jajujo romanized like this, like jajujo and jajujo. Now, just because the romanization is different, right, that does not mean that you pronounce them any differently, right? The sounds that they represent is still the same. It's just that since, as I've said, the Roman characters are not perfect at representing these sounds, sometimes we disagree on how, they should be represented. So we get situations like these. Now, I do believe, and I'm not sure about this, but I do believe that the second romanization is the quote-unquote officially recognized one, right? At this time, right? But, I don't care about Roman characters, right? I don't care about Romaji, so I don't really know. I'm not really, I don't give a damn, But the point is that even though, they're romanized differently, the sound is still the same. However, the problem is that, when you see this second romanization, you get the idea like that it's like this clean sound, right? Like that it's jajujo, but it's not, okay? It's not a clean sound. It has that dirtiness from a year, okay? However, again, it's not a clean year sound either. It's not like it's ja-ju-jo. It's jajujo, right? It's somewhere in between, right? It's dirty, right? It's a dirty j, right? Because there is that year, but the y sound is not as pronounced as it could be, right? So generally speaking, the sound that these characters represent is somewhere in between, right? It's just that the Roman characters are, as I've said, just not perfect for representing these. So, as I've said, you should really learn hiragana and katakana and the sounds that they represent as soon as possible. Well, just learn the hiragana, right, as soon as possible, and you can just learn the katakana a bit later, right, once you get used to hiragana anyway. Now, of course, that's pretty much it when it comes down to the small ya, yu, and yo. However, there is still this small tsu. Now, small tsu also attaches to the large, to the large characters, right? However, unlike ya, yu, and yo, it does not change the pronunciation of those characters, it just adds a pause in the word. So how that actually looks in examples is that, for instance, we have this zashi, right? It's zashi, right? However, it's not a clean zashi, it's not zashi, right? It's zashi, right? Zashi. It means a magazine, right? However, the point is that, there is that pause, right? It's zashi, zashi, right? You have that pause, that break. It's zashi, right? It's not zashi, it's zashi, right? Zashi. And of course, again, if we look at, katakana, right? We have this kapu, right? Kapu. It's not kapu. It's kapu. Now, as I said, kapu. Now, of course, in Roman characters, it's represented with these double consonants, right? But you don't pronounce the double consonants. You just add a pause. That's pretty much all there is to the small tsu, right? It just adds a pause to the words that it's used in. It's something you're gonna get used to, right, with practice, but as a beginner, it can actually be a bit troubling. However, if you know the words that you're actually reading, it's not really gonna be that much of an issue for you. And at the end of the day, you're gonna improve with practice, so it's, generally speaking, not really gonna be that much of an issue for you anyway. I'm just pointing this out because sometimes it can be a bit tricky when you are a beginner, right? However, you shouldn't really worry too much about it, right? You're gonna get better with experience. So yeah, that's basically it as far as small kana go, at the very least, for the time being. However, there are still more sounds to the Japanese language. Well, not really more sounds, it's just that we tend to elongate vowels in certain cases, and that elongation of the vowels is going to be the topic of the next video. And I hope I'll see you in that one. Bye.